Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Dr. Jerry Doby. And this morning, this afternoon, wherever we are, it's been one of those days. However, I have the amazing Dr. Lynn Richardson. She is a renowned financial expert, a best-selling author, and media personality who has long dedicated her career to empowering individuals with tools for financial independence and generational wealth. We got through that first part. Amazing. And Satan didn't try to step in. I appreciate it. But now, now as a key partner in Progressive's new Open the House initiative, she brings her decades-long uh, experience in mortgage lending and wealth building expertise to the forefront of a national conversation around home ownership accessibility. Through her candid advice, which we're going to get some of today, real
Uh-huh.
stories featured in Progressive's Recipe for Home Ownership series, Dr. Lynn is helping first-time and first-generation homebuyers overcome financial barriers, maintain their homes. That's the important part. You get it, you want to keep it, and build
Yes.
lasting legacies. So today we're going to dive into her mission, her mindset, and the blueprint she believes every aspiring homeowner should follow. Good morning, Dr. Richardson.
Hello, hello. I'm so honored to be here. So honored. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share.
The opportunity, the honor is mine. You get to, $10,000 a plate, kind of, workshops to get to hear you speak and spout. I get it for free today.
Come
Lord
on
have
now.
mercy. You have partnered with a corporate citizen in Progressive, and you with this open house initiative, what drew you to this particular campaign and why is it so important right now?
What drew me to the campaign is the need. We are facing some very, very interesting times, and one of the things that I've always believed is everybody has to stay in their lane while working together as a team so that we can all win the race.
Mm,
And so this is my lane. Again, while there are so many things happening on the landscape of this country, of this world that we're in, the lane that I am in is helping folks in the wilderness see the next step so they can get to the other side. And this is much needed. Homeownership has been, is right now, and always will be one of the most significant pieces of the foundation for building wealth. 70 years ago, our people in underserved communities had issues with homeownership, and now 70 years later today still have issues with homeownership, still have issues with understanding value and equity, and general overall wealth building. So the need is what drew me here. And what makes me passionate about it is, even though it's been several decades, not just that this has been an issue across the entire space of wealth in building generational wealth for first time home buyers and first generation home buyers, but many of the issues that were presented those years ago are still here today, and many of the rules that are in place today have been in place. So this really is about getting the word out. This is about letting people know that while, it looks like there's a lot of smoke happening over there, it
mm.
looks like there's a lot of, stuff going wrong over there. But one thing we all have to do, we have to go home someplace and lay our heads down. And if that includes rent, for many, if that includes you using the financial resources that you have to use in order to keep a roof over your head, then we now need to be strategic about what that means. So, it's a very exciting time. It's a time where folks can get educated, and it's a time where we can grow together.
Mm. In the segment of of um of the recipe for home ownership series that I paid attention to that you were a part of on the open house initiatives, you shared some personal insights about financial discipline. I'm not even going to get in there, but I'm gonna let you get it
Uh-huh.
because I know you're gonna get it. Uh, what are the most common mistakes you see first-time buyers make?
The most common mistake that most first-time buyers or first-generation buyers and anybody in any situation, the biggest mistake that we make is we listen to a whole lot of noise. We
Mm-hmm.
listen to what everybody's saying. We listen to a whole lot of opinions, and we listen to a whole lot of people's bad experiences and past experiences, but we don't get the facts for ourselves. We don't go actually dot the I's and cross the T's and get the information for ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I always say is people are emotional, money is not. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can't even depend on the weather. We don't know what it's going to be from day to day, month to month, year to year. There are tsunamis popping up in places and storms and hurricanes where they've never popped up before. Folks who never got snow or get snow. You don't know what's going to happen with the weather, but mathematics is predictable. It is the same. 1 + 1 = 2. And what I want to help people do is understand how to block out the noise, and get into the space to get the numbers and to get the facts so that they can make not only educated decisions, but wise decisions and practical decisions for where they are today.
Now that response, I'm going to reiterate something from that question. Uh, Financial discipline. And you stress the importance of buying within your means. Can you expand on that 1/4 of your take-home pay rule that you mentioned in the video series, though?
Yeah, well, so first of all, one of the thing about a house, it's like many things that are attached to a dream. There's a vision of what that thing is, and then there's the reality that we are met with when we get it.
Mm,
So whether it's a relationship, there's the vision of having a husband or a wife or whatever it is, and then there's the reality that sets in once you get there. There's the vision of, maybe going off to school or the military or anything, and then there's the reality that sets in once you get there. Home ownership is no different. There is the vision of what it is, and then there's the reality that sets in once you get there.
mm.
And so a part of that vision, while you're out shopping or while you're out going around, you start to think, well, I don't want to live here. I'd rather live over there, and I've got these things that I want. And somebody's telling you, well, yes, we can get you approved for that amount. Just because you can get approved for that amount does not mean it's going to fit into your budget, because what the bank is not taking into consideration, they're not taking into consideration how often you get your nails done, how
Mm.
often you go get that haircut, how often you are going to do some self-care. They're not taking into consideration whether you have to pay for childcare, or whether you're paying tuition for somebody to go to school, or whether you are helping an elderly parent navigate. They're not taking into consideration all of those things. They're not taking into consideration Christmas, vacations. They're not taking into consideration any of those things. So we have a finite amount of money. And I am a firm believer that we need to limit how much we spend on the roof over our head so we can live the rest of our lives comfortably, and at the same time plan for the future. I made so many mistakes, which is why I can teach anybody anything. Because any mistake you want to talk about, and you talk about this ain't me, don't know, baby, did that too. This is how you get across that. And so I wasn't thinking about the future when I was in my 20s. But let me tell you, if you keep living, it's going to come. So if your take-home pay is $4,000, I'm talking about your take-home pay for $4,000. You really want to try to keep your housing expense at 1,000. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you go out and get a multifamily the first time around so that you can live in one unit and then you can rent out the other unit? In renting out the other unit, you've got some additional cash flow to help pay the mortgage, and then you can keep that down, whatever that number is. Now, I know that may not be realistic all the time, but what I don't want you to do is,
Mm.
if your take-home pay is $4,000, you got to come up with $3,600 for a mortgage, or you need a whole check, right? You can't pay the mortgage out of one check. You've got to wait for two checks, and so on. So we want to keep that expense down, because the rest of life is happening. And even if you don't have any of those other extracurricular activities, then guess what? Life is going to show up. A roof may leak. You may lose a job or an income. And so you want to continue to build that emergency savings. You
Mm.
want to continue to build that emergency fund so that you're able to have some fun, at some point, or be able to respond to an emergency. And I want to just say this as well, because I often face people who say, well, I don't have the money. I don't have it. Oh, yes, you do. Don't tell me you don't have the money. Let me see your bank statement for the past 6 months, and I'll tell you if you have some money. I don't believe you when you tell me you don't have no money, because I want to see. And then if I look at your bank statement, and I've been to the concerts too, but everybody talking about where them fans at. Baby, I say where them funds at?
Where them funds
Where
at?
them funds at? Okay, let's flap some dollar bills.
Oh,
So we're spending a lot of money on things, and then we're in a situation. And I just want to help us be more realistic and live below our means.
so if you own a Volkswagen budget, don't go out there buying no Cadillac.
Come on.
If you,
Yeah. And if you are going to buy a Cadillac, buy the one that fit your budget. So, and I'm so glad you're saying this, because I bought a new car, went to the dealer, and they want to talk about the GLE, the ESP, and the XYZ. I said, well, what about the 1, 2, 3? How much is it going to cost? So I got the car that fit into my budget, and it wasn't the most whatever. So you're right. It's all about making sure that what works for us, because we got to live with these decisions every single day.
yeah, if you have bitter beer face at the end of the month, you have done too much.
Come on now.
uh,
Yes.
yeah, you need to be peaceful. You know what I mean? So we talked about systemic issues. Everybody knows that the dollar circulates within usually the black and brown community maybe once or
Mm-hmm.
before it's blown. Blacks in particular are 9/10 of your income. Nine out of every $10 we spend. What it doesn't matter what it's on, we have to spend it or we want to spend it. But it is that what it is. But so I wanted to ask and follow up that, from your perspective, how do systemic challenges and cultural expectations impact first generation or first time, home buyers, especially in the black and brown communities?
Um, how do systemic and cultural? Well, I would say systemic, and I'm going to deal with the systemic things that we can change,
Okay.
because certainly there are some systemic things that are, not that they can't change, but they can't change today.
Right.
So, what are the systemic things that we can't change today? Those are belief systems that say, we can't do this, or we can't do that, or someone tried to do this and it did not work, so we're not going to try to do that again, or simply thinking that we know something that we don't, systemically. In terms of just education, academic education does not equal economic success. Let me repeat: an academic education does not equal economic success.
Mm,
I am living proof of that. I
mm,
went to one of the world's, not just the nation's, one of the world's top academic institutions with degrees in economics and finance, and was still making very, very poor financial decisions.
mm,
So systemically, we want to address those things, and we want to get in the know. People fail in life because they don't know what they don't know, but they think they know. You
mm,
fail because you don't know what you don't know, but you think you know. That's really dangerous. That's dangerous territory. So it's one thing to know what you don't know and to ask those questions. But what about the things that you don't even know you don't know? So you don't even know that there's a question to ask.
mm.
And the only way to get in the know and to be exposed and to grow is to get in the education system. And so I'm excited that Progressive has started these conversations, but moreover, provided tools and resources so we can get in the know. The second thing, the cultural things, as that we may experience. And we often come from a history of not having. And our culture tells us that when we get the opportunity to have, that we got to show the world we got it. And we show the
Mm,
world, yeah, we
mm,
show the world with furniture and jewelry and things that depreciate in value, things that go down in value. And I'm not trying to poke at anybody, because I like nice things too. But if the purse costs more than the amount of money you can keep in it on a regular basis, it may not be a good idea to buy that purse. That's the universal purse test.
Go ahead,
If the
Doc.
purse costs more than the amount of money you can keep in it on a regular basis, leave it on the rack. You go to the rack, $1,000 purse self. Do you usually have $1,000? $50 purse self. That's usually how much you got. That's the purse that you get off the rollback rack. So we have to start really placing value. And, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Rich people stay rich because they act poor. Poor people stay poor because they act rich.
Mm.
And poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people to impress them.
See,
That's what we do.
see,
Yeah.
I promise you I'm going to edit that part and it will be one of those memes. We're going
Yeah.
to use this segment.
Yeah. And then
It,
and then
mm,
when we are the one in the family that quote unquote makes it, every we have a guilt thing and we want to help everybody and we can't afford it. And then family and friends expect us to do things that we don't have the capacity to do. So we got to learn how to say no. No is a complete sentence
yes.
to ourselves and to the external world. And we have to look at mathematics. Mathematics can be your friend. Whether you took algebra or went all the way up to calculus or differential calculus or what have you. But mathematics, basic mathematics can be our friend. And so when we adopt that and we're confident in that, then we can start to address some of these changes.
I didn't pass mathematics. Matter of fact, I got a D in algebra. And they said, "Do you want to take it again?" I said, "If you don't give me my degree,
Yeah.
get out of my
Let's just
face."
get the degree because you don't
Listen,
need algebra for this.
I don't need that. But I have, in the life experience, been part of the broke five broke fraternity, and I learned some hard lessons. And I love that you're speaking on, the ghetto, what we call ghetto fabulous. Living. I don't need a Rolex. Timex is just fine.
Yeah.
Um, I don't need a Bugatti. I'll take my Jeep,
Yeah.
and it's more durable. You know what I mean? So just live within your means and make good financial decisions. It will take it from some elders here. It will make a difference for you.
Yes.
Oh, I shouldn't have spent that. Too late. No refunds. You know what I mean?
Come on now.
Or the cooling off period is over and
Mhm.
you can't. Anyway, so this initiative with Progressive, the up payment grant offering $13,500 in down payment assistance. Um, how do programs like this change the trajectory uh, for new homeowners?
Well, I mean, it's capital, and it makes it possible. And everybody at some point needs capital. If you go and research or just listen on, any platform, the stories of some of the world's richest people, they'll tell you that before they had a breakthrough, they had an inflow of cash.
Mhm.
Somebody, whether it be investors, whether it be formal with a final series, a public offering or whatever, then they get that money. So this is like an IPO, if you will, or it's the same as someone who's trying to launch a big brand. Right now, the brand is me, myself, and I. Right now, the brand is my family. Right now, the brand is my legacy. And so when we're able to provide down payment assistance, capital, cash to help accomplish a goal, then we're doing a great thing.
I had to pause and think on that one. I'm just like, that was beautiful. That was delicious. That was the best meatloaf I ever had. Everything, all the ingredients right there, the formula for success and having a full stomach and keeping a full stomach, sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Getting you in the door. But not only is it about getting in the door, it's about staying there. So once again, we're back to financial discipline. Um, Staying there in your house and building value. What are your top three strategies for long-term success after the purchase?
I would say the top three strategies are: number one, to pay very close attention to the mathematics. I'm going to keep going back to that because once you get in the house, you want to throw a barbecue for the family. You want to have people over. You want to engage and socialize. And sometimes that costs money if everybody didn't bring a dish and so on and so forth. And that can be repeat and ongoing. Not to mention the things that you want to do to the house and decorate and get new furniture and so on and so forth. And so there's a tendency to maybe go into debt or to go get credit cards. Be okay. You've already done the thing. You've already impressed everyone by having the keys and unlocking the door. So you want to, decorate the house. Well, then do it one piece of furniture at a time, one room at a time. You don't have to go and get everything today so you can show everybody how beautiful it is, or even show yourself. If you've got a bed and you can cook a meal, then you are at a good start. Then if you've got a couch to sit on and so on and so forth. So I just have to say that because there's all these other expectations. So paying attention to the math. The second thing, and it's just like us, how you take care of yourself. It's self-care, it's house care. Are you taking care of the basic things that need to be looked at? Having an annual home inspection is like having an annual physical,
Mm.
or your quarterly dentist appointments, or your quarterly checkups. Get that house checked out before the summer breaks or before the winter breaks, and after the winter is over if you're in a cold market, before the weather changes if you're in any market. Take a look at what has taken place with the weatherization of certain systems in your home. Take a look, has the roof taken a beating? All of those kinds of things, because if we're not taking care of those things, then eventually they will break down. And the longer you wait to address a serious problem, the harder it becomes to solve. Let me repeat, the longer you wait to address a serious problem, the harder it becomes to solve. And when I say hard, I mean money. Where them funds at? Let's get on right back to that.
We
Okay,
back
where them
to it.
funds at?
Yeah.
Where them funds at? Right? And so that's what's happening, and it's tainting the experience. And people are saying, oh, I bought a house and it's too much responsibility. And yeah, it's too much responsibility if we never took care of anything day one. So that's why progressive and the open the house initiative is so important, because we're not just talking about getting in the home, we're talking about staying in the home. And then the third thing I would say is to make sure, again, I'm going back to the mathematics. What things do I need to do to my home to make sure mathematically it lines up with the rest of the market?
Mm.
So, do I need to improve my bathroom, or renovate my bathroom, or renovate my kitchen, or put in new appliances? Because there may be new construction happening within a mile. And so, if I ever decide to sell my home, I want to make sure my property value stays in the market range. Or if I decide to get equity
Mm.
while I'm in my home, I want to make sure that the 3-bedroom house that I bought, or the 2-bedroom condo that I bought, or the 1-bedroom studio that I bought, I want to make sure that it's still measuring up to the new things that are being built and or rehabbed around me. Right. So again, that annual checkup that you're going to take place, that's going to take place, and then an annual market appraisal, including what items do I need to improve in my home. If I have radiators and everybody else has air conditioning, then
Mm.
I'm going to have a value issue, and I'm going to have an economic issue, because it's more expensive to heat a house in the winter with radiators than it is with more efficient systems. So those are the things that I would say I would look at, the top 3 strategies while you're staying in the home.
You heard that. I told you at the beginning we were going to get some real actionable insights, some value from this conversation. Dr. Richardson, you can catch her at them 10, $20,000 a plate events. And we got her right here now, as a partner with Progressive Insurance for this amazing initiative. You mentioned credit a little while ago, and this is something I had just found out. Uh, Many aspiring buyers fear, bad or non-existent credit. Can you break down how non-traditional credit histories can still be used to qualify for a mortgage? Y'all pay attention, because I found this absolutely fascinating. I didn't know it. If I had have known it, I wouldn't have worried about no credit bureau, and I just gone and done my thing.
Yeah, if you have no credit, you still have paid somebody something in most cases. So if you have no credit, people have been told, well, that's bad credit. No, that's no credit. No credit is not bad credit,
Mm,
not when it comes to owning a home. When it comes to owning a home, you can use non-traditional credit, like your rent, your cell phone bill, a subscription that you're paying every single month for a service that you use, tuition payments, anything that you pay on time every month for the past 12 to 24 months can be used to create what is called a residential mortgage credit report, an RMCR. And
mm,
your lender takes these items, orders a credit report, and creates a credit report pretty much on your behalf. And that's what gets presented to the underwriter during the approval process. So non-traditional credit is of good use. Now, non-traditional credit is not to replace tarnished credit. So if you have tarnished credit, well, then guess what? That's okay too. Work on it one item at a time, get it untarnished, because the low credit score doesn't have to stay there. So
mm.
there's always a way to get around the situation you're in to get where you're trying to go.
So, one negative or late payment can affect you, but the further away you get from your last late payment, your points start to increase. So patience and financial discipline, once again, I think that's a very key point that Dr. Richardson puts out. Financial discipline, 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 and patience. No one to sit down. You ain't got to go and shop all the time. You wait. And every time you make an improvement, understand it takes 30 to 40 days for that to show up on your new report and affect how you're able to do business and move forward. The concept of wealth preservation through trust and estate planning, that was real powerful in your episode. Why is this often overlooked? Mostly, I would say because the conversations aren't had, but how can families start these conversations more importantly?
Well, we can start these conversations about estate planning by doing what we're doing right now. Each one teach one. Here we're having a conversation that will be shared with many, and every single one of us needs to remember what we hear in this space at this time, add it to our list of things to do, things to address, and then continue to share. It's simply because it has not been talked about. That's one. The other issue is people think they don't have anything. Everybody has something, whether it's life insurance, whether it's a pension, whether it's just the money in your bank account. There are things that we need to dot our I's on and cross our T's on and put a plan in place around, in the event that we are not here, and or in the event that we're here and can't make decisions for ourselves. So
Mm,
estate planning is not just about what happens after I'm gone, which nobody really wants to think about that. But let's think about the whole idea of insurance. People say, well, I don't want to pay it. Nothing's going to happen. When I paid for insurance for 30 years and nothing ever happened. Well, thank God nothing happened.
mm,
But you were protected just in case it did. Well, the thing with this estate planning is at some point it's going to be a factor. It's
yeah,
gonna, and chances are it's going to be unexpected. And not necessarily because something happens instantaneously, but because we get into a space where now I shift into a new dimension, or I shift into a new space, and I can no longer get what I could have gotten. Let's take, for example, someone who doesn't get the proper insurance to protect their life, and they wait and they wait. And then all of a sudden they go to the doctor and they find out they have some disease or some ailment that now they can't go get insurance. That's something that's instant. You didn't know that that was going to happen. You didn't know that that was going to be you. So we want to pre-plan. I always say, I just think that life works better when I'm ready for whatever's going to happen.
mm.
I can, look at and be positive and keep a positive mindset, but I'm always ready for the next thing that's going to happen. But the sad truth is, for first time home buyers and first generation home buyers, from a cultural perspective, there's one conversation to be had about the wealth that has been withheld. But the conversation I'm having today is about the wealth we withhold from ourselves. I'm talking about the wealth that we withhold from ourselves,
Get a
because
lot.
now it's a decision.
Yeah.
And you don't reap what you sow, you reap what you decide.
Mm.
You don't reap
Bar.
what you sow, you reap what you choose.
Bar.
So we have to choose to make the proper decisions. And if we don't know what to do, then that's why we get our home team. Progressive talks about that on the website. Build your home team and put the people around you who can advise you properly. You know, this isn't Sunday, it ain't church, but the Bible says that plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. So we want to not do this alone. That's another thing. We've been taught, you know, what goes on in this house stays in this house, which means you don't tell anybody anything. That's the worst advice ever when it comes to money,
Mm.
to not talk to anybody,
Mm.
to not tell anybody when you don't know what to do or you're struggling or you don't know how to make a decision. So we get into indecision, and then we end up being in a position where the wealth that was ready for us, that was prepared for us, slips through our fingers because we didn't make the right decisions at the right time.
She laid out bars, yo, for you hip hop heads. Those were bars. Bars. Wow. I love it. See, I love having these conversations. As someone, and maybe we're going to recap it. I'm going to ask the question a different way. I would like to say, you have talked about overcoming early financial challenges. You know, once again, that's where the financial discipline comes in, and she's teaching, live within your means, don't listen to the outside. The detritus of everybody else's life shouldn't affect what you're doing. That's what I feel about it. That's what I got from what you were saying. What message would you give to those currently struggling with debt or feeling home ownership is out of reach? I do see that prospective buyers have some greater opportunities to get in now. Not only, because of the economy and it becoming a buyer's market slowly but surely, but also because of what Progressive is doing.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, ma'am.
Which, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I was just yeah.
Mhm.
Forgive my footnotes.
Oh, it's
As someone
okay.
as someone who overcame early financial challenges, what message would you give to those currently struggling with debt or feeling home ownership is out of reach?
To first of all, everybody has either had a money problem, is having a money problem, or will have a money problem at some time in the future. Everybody, everybody. Okay, so you're not alone.
Mhm.
You're not alone. You're not the first. You won't be the last. I've gone through bankruptcy and foreclosure, and I graduated from college. I had too many credit cards. Learn the lesson and get the blessing. So know that you're not alone. Know that people have overcome, and know that again, if you go, a lot of times, see, the problem today that we have, the blessing and the problem, is that social media tells us that everybody's doing great. Everybody's doing wonderful. Look at this person. Look at that person. Look at this rich person. Look at this person. Let me tell you something. Go read the backstory.
Mm,
Okay,
mm,
go read the backstory on many of these people. There's somebody, a rapper, I forget that forgot that a couple of weeks ago just said, listen, we all broke. Like, he just broke it down. By the time we do this and do that and the music and the studio, yes, we get the equipment to make it look like we're here, but we're struggling too. So it's something that has been dealt with way before our time, now, and also in the future. And the only thing that we need to do is to remember that we can change if we are willing to choose and stay in the system and work and move towards the goal. Remember, you got to fight one way or the other.
mm,
You either got to fight off what you don't want, or you got to fight for what you want. It's not a question of, well, I can't fight. No, you're gonna fight something. All
mm,
right.
mm,
You're gonna fight something. So are you gonna fight for what you want,
mm,
or are you gonna keep fighting off what you don't?
mm,
So if you have been in financial trouble, if you've had a situation, if you've been bankrupt or foreclosed or repossession or collections or garnishments or whatever, come on now. You fighting that off. All right, now I need you to come on over here and fight for what you want.
Mm.
Let's figure out how to get that cleaned up. Let's figure out how to get some releases and satisfactions of judgment. Let's figure out how to clean that stuff up, and let's figure out how to get you where you're going. And homeownership is a part of that.
Own the land. If you own the land, 9 times out of 10, you'll leave a legacy of financial health, resources down the road. Old man said, invest in real estate. I believed him, and I still subscribe to that today. I'm going to go back to something you said and quote something you said again, because I think it bears repeating. Rich people stay rich because they act poor. I'd like for you to close out and by telling us how that mindset empowers first-time buyers to prioritize their ownership over appearances in today's social media driven culture.
Let me tell you, today's social media driven culture is what people put together. I am here looking at you now. I had to be put together. Somebody had to come and put some makeup on, and then I had to get the hair, and I had to put all this stuff together. This is put together. I didn't wake up like this. Everybody, oh, I woke up like this. Well, I didn't. Okay. And most people did not wake up like that. It was put together. It was put together to present an image of what's possible. So if what you see on social media is a put together image of what's possible, it's not real. It's not reality. It's like when they first start talking about reality TV. Well, they tell you, well, you get mad at her, he get mad at him, and then y'all go fight. That's not reality. Okay. So you now get to see what's possible. I'm going to tell you to use it to your advantage. What's possible. Okay. So all of it had to be put together. So take your own stuff and say, okay, this is what I got. It doesn't look all that great, but I can put it together. I can get it to the next step, one step at a time. But the real deal is not really caring what people think.
Mm.
Because if you got it all together, people going to talk about you. If you don't have anything together, people going to talk about you. It doesn't matter. So don't sign up for outside approval. Don't sign up for external validation.
Go on,
Don't
Denzel.
sign up
He
for
just
that.
he just did a whole diatribe on that. I didn't sign up. Don't
Who did that?
Denzel Washington just said the
Oh,
same thing. Don't sign up.
yeah. You care what people think
I don't care about
when what they think is as wishy-washy,
it.
what wishy-washy as the weather?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There people love Lynn Richardson
Mm-hmm.
because of what I present. I got some views. My family tell me, no, you can't say that. Oh, they'll get mad at you if you say that. But it's what I believe. It may not line up with popular opinion. I'm a traditional, been married 30 years, got 3 grown college educated daughters, 1 in law school, 2 working on their master's degrees. I have some pretty traditional views and values, but I don't say those things because everybody might cancel you. Well, the truth is, I'm only going to say what I need to say to tell the truth, because I'm not here because I'm signed up for something. I'm here because I have a message, and everything that you think doesn't have to be said. So some of those things that may be controversial, I'm not looking to attract anybody anyway about anything, so I can leave those things alone. But yeah, we all have to make decisions about what it all is and how we sit in this space. And I'm just going to say to people, don't sign up for external validation, because if you sign up for that, you will always be disappointed. And right now, this is about you and about the choices that you make. And you can choose your way into your dreams, into success, and yes, into building wealth for your family.
Build your way into the Open the House initiative. Go check out progressive.com. Find out more about this program. Please stay up on Dr. Lynn Richardson. See, I like the way she just gives it to us raw, uncut. She didn't come in here to candy coat nothing, sell nothing. She's sharing. What I heard her say is, I'm trying to be empty when I check out. I'm here to teach it. I'm here to pass it on. In this day, in this age of babies raising babies, disregarding our elders and the more experienced, just to go bump our heads. That's passe, bro. Pay attention. You know, there's a lot of mileage beyond the civil rights and a lot of paths that have been carved out and chopped out by leaders like Dr. Richardson. And they're here. Just follow the path. They're making themselves available. This is a free seminar we just had, a free in-depth conversation with some
Yes.
concepts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna go and send everybody an invoice after this for what we just did, and I'm gonna give you a cut though, Doc. I promise you.
All right.
This is so valuable. It has to be
Awesome.
one of the strongest conversations we've had on generational wealth, taking care of yourself. If you don't mind, could they know how to reach out to Dr. Lynn Richardson?
Absolutely. For all of the resources, go to progressive.com, open the house, progressive.com, open the house. And to connect with me directly, just go to asklynn.org, asklynn.org. And I'm Lynn Richardson on all social media platforms.
I'm going to end it right there. You know what to do. Support, protect, defend our ability to move forward as a culture and represent for these women. This has been a great series. This one right here, though, Doc.
Well, bring me back. Bring me back, because there's so many. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the conversations that we need to continue to put out there. Each one teach one, and just have that conversation. So I'm always happy to come back.
I will get with your team, Sonia. You know I'm old, so make a note. I want to talk to her again. And
yes, absolutely.
I really appreciate it. All right.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
blessed
much.
day.
You
Thank you all.
too.
So much.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you.
We're out of
Bye-bye.
here. Peace.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out to Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.